Time used to move differently. Not slower, just fuller. I used to feel it. Days stretched wide, not because I had less to do, but because I did things with more intention. But now, everything is urgent. Everything is instant. The world screams at me to keep moving, to want more, to never be still. And I listen. I fill the silence with noise. I fill the empty spaces with distractions. I scroll, I consume, I chase after things I don't even remember wanting in the first place. I call this progress, but what have I really gained? Somewhere along the way, I stopped asking why. Why do I do things I do? Why do I wake up and repeat the same motions every day? Why do I live as if I am only responsible for myself? But maybe this was just growing up. Maybe it's just society blunting the sharp sword or knife that you wanted to put into it and say, this is me, this is who I am. There was a time when people understood that life wasn't meant to be lived for the self alone. When we built not just for ourselves, but for those who came after us. When we planted trees knowing we would never sit in their shade. When we wrote books knowing that maybe, just maybe, someone we would never meet might read them and feel understood. Aziad Bouffier planted trees. Alone, in silence, with no expectation of recognition. He did not question whether his efforts were worth it. He did not wonder if he was wasting his time. He just did what was necessary. And in doing so, he turned a barren land into a forest. Can I say the same for myself? What have I built? What have I nurtured? Or have I only taken, only depleted, only rushed forward without looking back? Maybe it can be the same for you. What have you built? What have you nurtured? Have you only taken, only depleted, only rushed forward without looking back? I feel caught in a loop. A cycle of wanting, chasing, consuming, discarding. Maybe I call it ambition. But is it? Or is it just another way to run from the stillness? How do I step out of it? How do I remember what it means to live in a way that matters? Maybe I start by stopping, by standing still long enough to hear my own thoughts, by touching the world with my hands instead of just my screens, by doing something, anything, that is not for myself alone. When I read this quote, I thought, so maybe that's it. The way back. Not grand gestures or desperate revolutions. Just one act. Then another. Then another. A tree planted. A kindness given. A moment of stillness embraced. A life lived. Not for reward, but for the quiet knowledge that something good was left behind. This is the essence of The Man Who Planted Trees, a book that is not just a story, but a reminder. A reminder that change does not come from the noise or force, but from quiet, persistent action. From faith in something bigger than ourselves. This is why I think it's essential for people to read it, to understand what it truly means to live with purpose, without seeking applause. And maybe that is what musician and composer Alma Deutscher meant when she spoke of making ugly sounds beautiful. How even the simplest of things, when nurtured, can transform into something greater. She did not reject the discord. She shaped it, molded it, turned it into music. Just like Bouffier turned desolation into life. Just like we can take this chaotic world and carve meaning into it. Maybe the world is not lost. Maybe we have just forgotten how to listen, how to plant, how to create something beautiful from what seems barren. Maybe the answers have been in front of us all along, in books, in music, in the quiet acts of those who came before us. So read this book, listen to the music, and maybe, just maybe, plant something of your own.